Hey there, today I'm going to be talking about the new Logan and Sabretooth coming from the Rivals pack with a new take on some of the first mutants we got to play with. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gaming Show. As with pretty much all of my reviews, this is going to be just talking about the characters that we are getting in this new Rivals pack. I am planning on making a separate video that is going to be something more akin to a product review with my thoughts on the new take of what a Rivals pack is going to be, assumingly going forward. But today we start with Logan, the Wolverine, who has an alter ego of James Logan Howlett. He has 6 stamina, moves medium, is size 2 for 4 threat. He has 4 physical and energy defense with a lower mystic defense at 2. His first attack is his X-Slash. It has a range of 3 and a strength of 5 for no cost. There are 3 different abilities on this attack. First, as you might expect, is it gains power equal to the damage dealt. Secondly, and very interestingly, a range 1 place off of the enemy character after the attack is resolved. And then finally, a Wild Pierce. There is a lot to like about this attack. The longer range, more movement, and so on. It is important to mention that you will have to do the place unless you KO the character in question. His next attack is similar, but with more. Tornado Claw is also a physical attack, but this one is a beam 3 with a strength of 7 and cost 4 power. If you get a wild, you will both get a pierce trigger and the enemy will walk away with the bleed condition. After all attacks that are generated by the Tornado Claw have been resolved, Logan gets placed within range 1 of the last character to be attacked, which is very helpful when combined with one of his 4 innate powers. But first we have his lone active power. What I do isn't very nice. It costs 3 power and an action. In exchange, Logan makes an X/attack action, and then after the attack is resolved, if the target character is size 3 or less, Logan can toss them short in any direction. And this superpower can only be used once per turn. So obviously, attaching a guaranteed throw to your builder is nice. But what is really cool about it is you can choose to either place yourself and then throw the target, which is good if you want to get yourself onto an objective and the enemy off of that objective, or you can time it so that the throw resolves first and then you can do a placement to have even a bit more precision on where Logan lands, not to mention range. The first of his innate powers is Adamantium Skeleton. This makes the Wolverine count as size 3 when you are determining throws and pushes, as well when he is colliding with another character or terrain feature. Which is both a good and bad thing, as it makes him more difficult to control, but also means that he hurts a bit more if he lands on a buddy. Get Out of My Head just compounds on Logan's weak mystic defense because the first time he is damaged by a mystic attack each turn, other allied characters within range 3 suffer 1 damage. Thankfully, characters damaged this way will gain 1 power. Though hopefully Logan is never within range 3 of any of his friends, because On the Hunt lets Logan reroll up to 2 of his attack dice when he is making an attack, and there are no allies within range 3. He then also has Healing Factor 2 and is immune to stun. So this version of Logan has quite a few things going for him, both good and bad, compared to his X-Men counterpart, but still has some high exposed weaknesses. So, before I go any further, it is important to mention that there are no changes on his injured side. What am I a fan of, though? His mobility, his damage output, and his durability to a lesser extent. Wolverine now has a 3 range 3 place whenever he performs an attack, basically, and that will get him on a middle point turn 1 if an enemy is already there. Additionally, if you combine his strike with what I do isn't very nice, his mobility becomes closer to a range 5 place after the throw, not to mention getting to, throw the enemy. His damage output becomes fantastic as long as you can set him up correctly. you're going to want this guy to be on a flank of a D-secure, really just outside of range 3 of any allies. Because once he goes on the hunt, well, a 7-die beam 3 with 2 rerolls and Wild Pierce is a nice recipe for murder. His durability isn't suddenly amazing, but healing factor 2 with 4 defense dice on energy and physical is nothing to really just shrug off, as we have learned from X-23. He isn't super tanky or anything, but it will take some concentrated firepower to bring him down. As far as any glaring weaknesses go, well, he's very scenario dependent. Logan's going to be able to do good work on a low threat total mission where things are a bit more spread out. But I can't ever see him being the perfect piece for a mission like Gamma Shelters or Researcher, where he's never going to benefit from the rerolls that make him so lethal. Then in the middle ground territory, he isn't brimming with control, but a guaranteed throw in any direction off of what I do isn't very nice is enough to keep me satisfied for a 4 threat. The other glaring weakness that I feel like it doesn't even need to be mentioned is his weakness to Mystic, both defensively as well as the damage I can deal to allies. But hopefully you're bringing him into situations where he's not within range 3 of his buddies anyway, so hopefully it doesn't matter as much. As far as affiliations, we know he is a part of the new Weapon X affiliation, but nothing is really known about them yet. In the meantime, honestly, I kind of like the Dark Dimension could be a fun spot for him. Between his own healing ability and the low model count that Dormammu has to play at, Wolverine could make for a great flank piece. Logan's rival in the Rivals pack is, of course, Sabretooth, Apex Predator. He still has the alter ego of Victor Creed, he has 7 stamina, moves medium, is size 3 for 4 threat. He has 4 physical and mystic defense and 3 energy defense. Like his pal Logan, though, defense isn't where this character shines. Victor's first attack is Claw Slash. It is a physical attack with a range of 2, strength of 5 for no power. It will gain him power equal to the damage dealt, and on a wild, the next attack gains Pierce and will give the enemy character bleed. His Spender is, well, similar. Bloodthirst Onslaught is also a physical attack, but this one has a range of 3, strength of 6 for 2 power. It also has the Wild Pierce and Bleed, but it changes in the fact that it has what Wolverine's Strike does with a range 1 place after the attack is resolved. So for 2 power, Sabretooth gets a longer range strike with a place attached to it, which can be great, but isn't too exciting either. His array of active superpowers, on the other hand, these are fun. First is Catch Runt. It will cost 3, but it lets Creed choose an enemy character of size 3 or less within range 2, and then tosses them medium once per turn. So this is control and damage output wrapped into one nice little package. Then we have his Primal Pounce. It also costs 3 and lets Sabretooth toss himself medium, and he will ignore collision damage for that throw. It can only be used once per turn, but that's kind of an extra source of damage and movement. Then finally we have Stop Squealing and Die. This one costs 4 and says that the next Claw Slash or Bloodthirsty Onslaught attack made by this character adds 3 dice to its attack roll. So Sabretooth is here to deal out some damage, and man, he can deal out quite a bit of it if he has the power. Before I go farther, it is worth mentioning he does have healing factor 1 and goes down to 6 stamina on his injured side. So Sabretooth is an absolute bruiser of a model as soon as he gets some power on him. He has effectively 8 guaranteed hits between his 2 throws, and the possibility of 8-die builders with Pierce, which for the record is significantly better than a 5-die attack with 2 rerolls. But one does cost, quite a bit of power, which is really Sabretooth's glaring weakness. He is a power-starved model. Sure, once someone starts to beat up on him, he can get his juices flowing, but Sabretooth wants to spend at least 7 power a turn on average, and that just isn't sustainable really. He has some control with his throw, which is nice, mobility with his spender and the pounce, But man, I wish he gained power when he rolled his skull or something. As far as affiliations go, again, there is the Weapon X program that we currently don't know anything about. But outside of that, anywhere that can feed this man some power, well, Creed would appreciate it. But that's all I have for the review of the characters in this box. Again, next week I'll be doing more of a critical review of this box amongst some other topics that have been on my mind recently. Before I get to the sponsors part of the video, I wanted to go ahead and do the giveaway for October. That is possible thanks to Tridex Games. And with all of that said, I will send it over to my future self. And here we go. King Nothing. The only reason I get everything is my ridiculous amount of store credit I received from my 40k purge. Awesome, King Nothing. Props to the 40k purge, I guess, more than anything else. But also, congrats on hopefully getting everything a little bit easier for you now. Congratulations and thank you for watching. Now, I do want to go ahead and give the actual shout-outs to the guild sponsors, Tritex Games and War Room Hobbies, which are both local gaming stores that host game nights, events, and the like, as well as offering MCP miniatures at a bit of a discount. If you shop from them, use the code TRITEXGGCP5 at checkout when shopping with Tritex to save an extra 5% off, and the code MCP2022 will get you an extra 10% off of your order from War Room. So if you want to get your hands on any of these new beastly models, or just go ahead and get your Sentinels set up and are shopping online anyways, consider using these stores and discounts to help out an LGS. However, as always, if you're already shopping from your local gaming store, do that, keep doing it, keep supporting them. We understand and even appreciate it. But if you're still wanting a way to support the guild's videos or podcasts, check out our Patreon page. It isn't anything too crazy, but it gives you access to the Guild Hall Discord page and helps us continue to work on new projects and content. So thank you to all the members of the Guild Hall who are supporting what we do here. As always, if you have enjoyed my thoughts and are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button for a weekly dose of MCP content in the form of reviews, how to play guides, and other MCP goodness. As well, you can find the Gaming Guild podcast on several different podcast apps and platforms. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.